Welcome back. Staying with the battle for the Republican presidential nomination, I'm joined by former Governor of Ohio, John Kasich, who is now expected to formally enter the presidential race later this summer. Governor Kasich, welcome back to Meet the Press. Am I characterizing that correctly?
I'm not former. I'm still governor.
You're still governor.
Hey, listen, before you get into the questions, we were talking early in the show about the quality of people in public life. And let me just say that I don't always agree with them. But, you know, Joe Biden is a special guy. And you think about this. He lost a wife, a daughter, and now a son. And he continues to serve. So we start thinking about the quality of people. Joe Biden, whether you agree with him or not, he's a real guy. He's a real stand-up guy. And I'm going to pray for him because he's had a lifetime of tears. And God bless you, Joe.
You couldn't say it better myself, Governor Kasich. I appreciate you starting off that way. Let me ask you about where you are in this timetable. You've been here before. You said you were exploring. Now it sounds like you want to announce at the end of the month. Is that why wouldn't you announce at this point? Why wouldn't you run?
Well, if I think I can't win, Chuck, I wouldn't do it because I don't want to burden my family and my friends. So we have some internal metrics, both on organization, and I'm pleased that former Senator John Kasich has agreed to kind of head things up in New Hampshire, which is the best guy you can get, and it's resources too. And you know, I raise money the old-fashioned way. I go out, tell people what I think, and you know, and I say to them, if you hire me, I'm a CEO, and you know, I'll listen to you. But at the end of the day, I'm going to make the decision. Something I've done throughout my whole career with, frankly, great success. So look, I'm optimistic about where we are. I mean, I'm optimistic on the resources. I'm becoming more and more optimistic on the organization. And I don't need to do this to have a good life, but I think I can help serve my country. I've got the most unique resume and a terrific record, and I had a great team of people around me. And so, Chuck, we'll see. I love my country, and if I can really step up and help it, I intend to do it.
A lot of people put you in the same, if you divide up these candidates, there's so many of you that may be in the race, but in different heats, and many of you put you in the Jeb Bush heat. And you said something interesting to Dan Balls in an interview you did earlier this week. You say, I don't know anything about Jeb Bush's theme. I really don't. I've never listened to him. What's right to rise? Getting up in the morning. It was awfully snarky. I take it you believe that Jeb Bush has done nothing to convince you he's a better candidate than you would be.
Well, look, I like Jeb, and I don't know, it might have been one of those days where I just wanted to say something that was, you know, kind of funny. Maybe you didn't take it that way, but Chuck, here's the situation. I was the chairman of the Budget Committee when we balanced the budget in Washington. That was the first time since man walked on the moon. I did it with the Clinton administration, and we got it done, Pete Domenici and I and the other team. I was also on the Armed Services Committee and was involved in military reform, including the most significant reform of the military that many say in 50 years with the Goldwater-Nichols bill to get the services to work together. I went into the private sector for 10 years where I learned so much, and now as governor of Ohio, you know, we've gone from basically a state that was dead to a state that's optimistic and growing, and we just announced on Friday Amazon locating a big facility here in the Midwest. I mean, we're growing jobs. We've cut the most amount of taxes. Chuck, with that resume, national security, success in Washington, and success as an executive, I mean, I think it's the best resume and really a terrific record.
Hey, let me ask you something about that happened this week in another Midwestern state. The state of Nebraska decided to stop the death penalty altogether. And there's different reasons why they did it. You have had a temporary moratorium in Ohio. I want to read you something that a former predecessor of yours wrote recently. Bob Taft wrote this in December of last year. The death penalty is very costly to administer. Lengthy trial and appellate procedures put a burden on county and state governments to pay for lawyers, judges, and jails. It may be time to ask the question whether the death penalty in Ohio is a dead man walking. Do you agree with his assessment that basically the death penalty is done in Ohio?
No, I don't agree with that, Chuck. Look, we're just looking for the drugs that we need to administer it. And in this debate, sometimes we forget the victims. Listen, I review all these cases, and some people I've said we will let them stay for a life in prison if I wasn't certain of who did what. But I've had these grieving families come to see me, Chuck, people who've had their mothers who have been gunned down. And look, it's about justice, and it isn't about revenge, it's about justice. And I support the death penalty and will continue to do that because a lot of times families want closure when they see justice done. we're in a tricky situation here because of the lack of drugs, but no, I think you administer it sparingly. But frankly, at the end of the day, when it comes to me, everybody's had a look at these cases, and I get the final say. And I try to remember, I don't try to, I remember the victims when I consider this.
And I know you're a deeply religious man, your Catholic faith. Do you struggle with where you are on this and where the church is?
No, I don't, Chuck, because, look, I said it as clearly as I can. I think it is about justice. And, you know, I think it's consistent with my faith. If it didn't, I'd have to exercise it. But look, at the end of the day, I'm also a secular official, right? I'm also the governor. Now, it doesn't mean that my faith doesn't influence me, but I have a job to do as administrator of the state of Ohio.
All right, Governor John Kasich, I will leave it there. When you're an official candidate,
we'll come back.
Let's come back and go through all of these issues, the debt, all sorts of things that we've got to get to. You got it.
Can't wait.
Thank you, sir. Stay safe when you travel. Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.